time, out of mind. Why the compulsion to live in history? Beethoven's ultimate triumph was to step outside it, to no longer care for where or when. Though we lack his gifts to record the journey, none of us lack the means to sever ourselves from the bonds of space and time. History is a foam of freestanding, mutually inaccessible bubbles. Progress, a notion concocted by the death-haunted. Our own time is simply another lump of coal in an ill-fitting straitjacket, rounded with and bounded by chaos, climate, geography, and a little sleep. To interact with it conceptually serves only to suck one into a quicksand of imagined meaning, away from the sensuous experience of eternity, from an Edenic garden of blissful, vegetative oblivion. Do we pity those who lived before Christ, before science? Do we pity ourselves for being denied an imagined utopian future, ruled with compassion, in which superstition has disappeared and men live for centuries? Lab rats scurry self-importantly about their opaque cages, lecturing feverishly to impress their contemporaries, while craning for a view forever denied them. Meanwhile, the eternity that lies within us in our diseased livers and neuropathic extremities rots, unattended and unknown. Our herpetic mouths babble on about hierarchies of time, lifestyles, and tales of progress, until our wheezing, cancerous lungs bleed violently and finally implode. The secret of longevity and the keys to immortality lie in a boiling cauldron of dreamless sleep, of ecstatic forgetting. Jump in. One has no real relationship with history. One's only salvation lies in embracing eternity, brimming, bristling, and bubbling over with life, death, hyper-aroused nervous systems and corpses, all at once, beyond all sense and philosophy. Thinking can't get you there. The progression of life on Earth from plant to animal was an absurd, degenerate mistake. From the limbo-like paradise of gauzy, narcotic sleep to the frantic, scavenging hell of constantly seeking nourishment, shelter, sex, and, as of late, meaning. Consider the magnificently solitary oak, basking in its luminous, shimmering brilliance, its nobility, unwitting and instinctive, gorging itself on the sun, rain, and nourishment its hungry branches and roots devour in an ecstasy of communion and oblivion. Look there, the squirrel, madly leaping from one of its branches to another in a frenzy of manic preparation and constant anxiety, its neurons squirting desperately uncomfortable signals of the presence or absence of food, predators, potential mates, and on. Its brain a constantly convulsing, tortured nightmare. Do you not rather aspire to be as that oak, as the soil upon which it feeds, as the earth's crust, its magma, its fiery, beating, blissfully brainless heart? You prefer, needless to say, to touch and impress your contemporaries, to strut and fret your way through your pathetic penitentiary of time, to puff up your puny self with delusions of goodness, wisdom, talent, power, immortality, and most comically, meaning, significance, and usefulness. May these things serve you well as the light leaves your eyes, as your mind sputters in terror and finally stops like a cheap, disposable watch. How you will wish you had instead spent your life soaring in perpetual dream, suckling at the breast of primordial stupor. Stop talking to people and start listening to the mysteriously intoxicating music of the trees. When you are unable to sleep, devolve into madness. Sex, drugs, risk-taking, music. Whatever frantic lunacy most quickly exhausts you, so that you might live again in slumbering, unconscious ecstasy. The meaning of man's existence lies only in his unwitting kamikaze mission to cause a new Permian-level extinction, to return the earth to its previous anodyne state of sun and algae-drunk ocean, blossoming coral reef, and Antarctic rainforest, as, all the while, the languorously impassive equator gorges itself on and finally drowns in floods and torrents of animal flesh and blood. Will the terrified looks on our grandchildren's faces as they succumb to drought, resource wars, colossal hurricanes, and tsunamis be more intense, more meaningful than those of the dinosaurs watching the lightning-fast fireball racing to consume them? Are they not both cheesy B-movies in the fickle mind of God to watch once, chuckle at, and discard? No one overcomes history in happiness and health, their facades warmly and sensuously illumined. Only an all-enveloping sadness carries one off, beyond art, beauty, and love. Death is bitter one moment, sweet the next. Beyond contradiction and doubt lies no certainty, only release. One is tired of knowing, contemptuous of curiosity, floating freely in that boundless vacuum which drives the waves and pushes up the daisies. Life and death are mere abstractions to minds long ago abandoned. Perhaps it was only suffering or the fear of death that caused one to seek eternity, forgetfulness, oblivion. A pointless, inaudible question, echoing faintly through the drenched swamp of primeval dream, through a still barely pulsing nervous system freed from all time and conscious thought. Lotus, mud, angel, corpse, galaxy, black hole, God, and the dead, frozen universe to come together at last.